The Republican National Committee is bullish on crypto. They are all in following Donald Trump's lead. This is bad news for Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler. And Coinbase is going after Gary Gensler's private emails to see what he has been up to in his fight against the crypto industry. And BlackRock's Buidl tokenized fund tops 500 million. We're going to break this down and much more. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we got huge news. Please watch and listen to the end. Lots of big news for the market. Let's start with the price of Bitcoin because we're watching this closely to see, has Bitcoin found its bottom? And it's looking like we have, on the daily RSI, it's looking like we're finding that bottom. We kind of double bottom here. So fingers crossed, this is the bottom and we see a reversal. However, it could go down. And I know that's not an answer or a thesis many people like to hear. They want certainty, but unfortunately, no one has a crystal ball, so we can't give certainties. What we can give is probabilities, and we can make some educated guess as to what the next move may be. But if we had a crystal ball, I wouldn't even be in the markets. I would be looking at the lottery numbers, and that would be an easier way to make money, right? But this is how things go with investing, and we have to use data and facts. The DXY continues to break downward, so that's a good sign. That should be conducive to Bitcoin finding the bottom soon and doing a reversal. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is still at a score of 28. That's very bullish in a bull market. In a bear market, that is not good, of course, but in a bull market where we are in a uptrend, higher highs, higher lows, having fear in the market in a corrective move is very bullish. And here, one analyst, Adrian Zidunchik of the Crypto Burb group, says Bitcoin bullish divergence, sellers getting exhausted. So I've often talked about Bitcoin can become oversold, and you use the RSI as an indicator to highlight that. So it looks like we're there, guys. So that's why I'm saying the bottom is very close. The other factor is the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ continue to hit new highs. So they hit record highs again. So why am I highlighting that? We know crypto is highly correlated to the stock market, but from a macro, it's all correlated to global liquidity, which has been on the rise. And we know we're going to return to QE eventually. The Fed is going to cut rates and capital is going to become cheaper versus how it is now. So all of these things, once again, are conducive to the crypto market continuing its run up. Now, I know some people are going to say, hey, Germany keeps selling, guys. Mt. Gox is selling. What about that? Well, let me share some thoughts from quite a few folks. First, Gerbox, who was of Van Eck, he actually left Van Eck recently, but he said German government liquidated close to $1 billion in Bitcoin, 17,000 Bitcoin in a single day. The price barely moved 2%. This is what a mature market looks like. Few understand. So this selling is not putting any major dents in the market. It's not like it invalidated the entire bull market. Yes, we have a correction. Yes, we have a pullback, but that's normal. That's healthy. That can happen in a bull market. Just go back and look at the charts from prior bull market cycles. Here, Alex Kruger added to that. He said that the German onslaught of their selling is entering its final stretch. They've pretty much sold half of their Bitcoin supply already, so they have another half. But he said, look, the market can absorb this because it's mature, and this selling will eventually stop. It will eventually run out. So guys, we're weathering the storm right now. We're going to come out of it. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I know for those of you who've been here for multiple bull market cycles, this is nothing, right? You and I are on the same page. But for my new investors, I'm trying to share these different metrics and facts and things like that to help put your mind at ease, because it's an emotional roller coaster, but you have to check your emotions at the door. And I hope I'm doing a good job conveying that. Now, what we have been seeing is that whales have been buying, companies have been buying, ETF inflows have been on the rise. People have been buying the dip. So here we got report that Japanese public company MetaPlanet buys another 400 million yen worth of Bitcoin. And this is from today. They bought some, I think like a week and a half ago. They've been buying a lot. So it's not only companies in the United States like Tesla, MicroStrategy, and others. And I think Dell Dell is going to announce that they have added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. We're seeing this happening globally. And like I said, the ETF inflows have been on the rise. I recently shared with you guys updates from Bitwise Asset Management. They had days of $30 million of inflows, $40 million of inflows. So we are seeing the buying of the dip, folks. And that's what smart money does in any type of pullback. They dollar cost average in. Now, speaking of ETFs, the Solana ETF applications are on the rise. So, guys, we got news here that CBOE files 19B-4s for both VanEck and 21 shares Solana ETFs. Eric Balchunas of Bloomberg says, looks like Solana ETFs are going to have a final deadline of mid-March 2025. But between now and then, the most important date is in November. If Biden wins, these are likely dead on arrival. If Trump wins, anything is possible. So, folks, game theory, one player, VanEck, started it all, filing for that ETF. And I actually interviewed VanEck's head of digital assets, and I'll publish that interview this week. And then the others follow suit. So I think the Solana ETF will be next. But as Eric articulated here, let's see what happens comes this election, because if Biden wins, he may double down against crypto because he's like, well, looks like what Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler did didn't matter for me for the election, right? That's a very likely scenario. So let's actually talk a bit about that. We got news today that Trump's official Republican platform pledges to halt crypto crackdown. Though not listing it as a top priority, the Republican National Committee adopted a platform that aims to boost digital assets innovation. So the Republicans are going all in following Donald Trump's lead. Donald Trump has, of course, come out and said, I'm the pro-crypto candidate. I will protect your right to self-custody and all these things. So they're going all in. And here's the TLDR. Nick Carter put it out here in a tweet. He says, official Republican Party platform on crypto couldn't really ask for anything more. 1, end crypto crackdown. 2, no CBDC. 3, right to mine Bitcoin. 4, right to self-custody. And 5, the right to transact freely. This is incredibly bullish for the crypto market. And we've been talking a lot about this, about crypto's impact on elections. And don't get me wrong, there are Democrats that support crypto. However, their voices are drowned out by Elizabeth Warren's, which is the loudest in the room. And she has the financial services power right now because Biden appointed her. And of course, Gensler is working for her. So he is attacking the industry from that front. And then you have some other folks who are part of Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army, as she would call it, like Sherrod Brown and some of these other cronies. So we got to fight. And I think come this election, a lot of crypto people are going to vote Republican. I have to be honest. And I'm not telling you to do that because I'm not here to tell you who to vote for or who to support. I just present the news and the facts to you. And then, you guys make your own decisions and conclusions from there. But the Republicans recognize that the Democrats have gone so far on the other side of the spectrum where they are anti the technology. And it's ridiculous that they're now saying, okay, we're going to campaign on this. And of course, the crypto industry raised over $160 million to support pro-crypto candidates. Now, don't get me wrong, that includes Republicans and Democrats, but the majority is Republicans. And of course, Donald Trump leading for the Republican side, he's going to get a lot of that money. And we saw in Super Tuesday and in the elections recently, a lot of people who are aligned with Elizabeth Warren started losing. So the Democrats really screwed up. Biden really screwed up here by having Elizabeth Warren do this. Now, some of the Democrats in the House and Senate are recognizing this. This is why they joined their Republican colleagues to help pass the FIT21 bill out of the House and repeal SOB 121 in the House and Senate, because they see the writing on the wall. Like, this is really dumb that we're doing this. But once again, are their voices and actions strong enough to take down Elizabeth Warren? And here Katie Bieber of Paradigm, she says, history has been made. Crypto is in the official GOP platform. Here's a quote: Republicans will end Democrats' unlawful and un-American crypto crackdown and oppose the creation of a central bank digital currency, and so on and so forth. The things that Nick Carter highlighted. But when you read this, it's pretty surreal, right? That this is an election item, right? I mean, even if you go back to the beginning of this year, if you told me that crypto was going to be a ballot item, an election item, I would say, I don't think so. but then the political winds change, and I think Donald Trump was the spark that lit the fire here. And but his stance is just a reaction to the extremism of Elizabeth Warren and her anti-crypto nonsense. And I mentioned that the crypto industry is raising a lot of funds. We saw many folks started donating to Donald Trump. Here, Kyle from Multi-Chain Capital, they are a crypto investment fund, said today Multicoin Capital is proud to announce a special contribution to match all donations of Solana tokens to the Centennial Action Fund, up to $1 million for Solana donations made over the next 10 days. What is the Centennial Action Fund? It is the only conservative super PAC with a year-round ground game committed to turning out absentee early vote and election day voters. Wow. Guys, see what's happening? Capital being pushed towards pro-crypto candidates, and many of them are Republicans. So the Democrats really, really screwed up here. And, they mentioned here Senator Haggerty, who I'm actually trying to get on the pod. He's actually been working with Senator Lummis to help get proper crypto legislation. Now, if you recall, there was a hearing last month where he grilled Gary Gensler. You had Rostin Benham and Gary Gensler sitting next to each other. He says, Rostin Benham, is Ethereum a commodity? Rostin Benham says, yes. He asked the same question to Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler couldn't answer the question. He danced around it, skirted around it. So many members of Congress and the Senate are now recognizing that this is an issue, and they're going after the people who are anti-crypto, especially in the different agencies like the SEC. Here's what Paul Grewal, chief legal officer at Coinbase, said on this news. He says, a major American political party has declared in its official platform its commitment to the right to self-custody. Why not both American political parties? Great question, Paul. But enter Congressman Ro Khanna, which I've been sharing with you guys. He's hosting a crypto roundtable this Wednesday, and Mark Cuban's going to be a part of it. People from the Biden administration is going to be a part of it. I think this is Congressman Khanna. He's a Democrat, by the way. This is Congressman Khanna's way to try to salvage the Democrats' stance on this, to try to steer the ship away from Elizabeth Warren and get the Biden administration to come out and be pro-crypto. Will he be successful? That is a big question. That's the big question, right, folks? Is it too late? It depends what the Democrats are able to do. If they come out really strong and they put out maybe their own version of a bill and they really push aggressively to counteract what Donald Trump has been doing, it's possible, but I don't think it's likely, man. I think Biden, he obviously is not thinking about crypto and doesn't have an opinion right now. He's just doing what his handlers are telling him, right? And one of his handlers is Elizabeth Warren. So this is what we're dealing with. However, some folks are reporting that apparently Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse will be part of the roundtable. So there's going to be a lot of leaders from the crypto industry at this roundtable. So let's see what they're able to do, folks. Maybe they can pull out something here, but I don't know. The Democrats have really hurt themselves here by following Elizabeth Warren. All right, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is BitGo, which is one of the top tier crypto custodians in the market. It is headed up by Mike Belshie, who's a Web 1.0, 2.0 legend. The man worked at Google. He helped build Google Chrome and much more. But BitGo is one of the most trusted crypto custodians out there. They're working with Pantera Capital. That's an investment fund headed up by Dan Moorhead. Bitstamp Exchange, Bitcoin IRA. Nike also leverages BitGo's wallet services. Some of the services that BitGo offers includes hot wallets, custodial wallets, self-managed cold wallets, and NFT wallets. So if you'd like to learn more about BitGo, visit bitgo.com or check out the link in the description. Now, guys, we know that President Biden vetoed the repeal of SOB 121, despite the Democrats joining the Republicans to repeal this, right? We saw it in the House and the Senate. This was a big win for the industry. But Biden, obviously listening to Warren, who sent that angry letter, if you guys recall, she's the one that was pulling the strings, he vetoed it. Now, I don't think Biden even knows what the hell SOB 121 is, right? But guys, we got a House vote coming up on Wednesday to overturn President Biden's veto, and we'll see what happens. Eleanor Terra of Fox Business has reported that She's told by a Democrat staffer familiar with the thinking of the House leads that they do not expect many Democrats to change their votes on Wednesday. They see a better pathway to overriding SOB 121 through HR 5741, Uniform Treatment for Custodial Assets, a bipartisan bill introduced by Representative Mike Flood and co-sponsored by Representative French Hill, Wiley Nickel, and Richie Torres that addresses the accounting treatment of digital assets. So the TLDR here with this SOB 121, it de facto prevents banks from being able to hold crypto assets directly. So for example, they can't custody the assets for ETFs. That's why a lot of the ETF issuers have gone to Coinbase and other custodians in the market like BitGo. But if banks are able to custody them, then they can get involved with crypto. So the SOB 121 prevents that from happening. So this is why we need to kick out and allow more folks to come into the market. Like BNY Mellon wanted to launch crypto custody. They weren't able to do that because of rules like this. So let's see if the Democrats will join in repealing this. If it doesn't happen, as Eleanor is highlighting here, there is a bipartisan bill that could work better. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. She says the House Appropriations GOP also included a policy rider in its budget bill that would prohibit the SEC from using appropriated funds to implement SOB 121. The bill would have to be approved by the Senate before it goes into effect. So that's another avenue. They're saying SEC, okay, you want budget, you want money, you cannot use it towards this. That's another factor that's going to roadblock scumbag regulator Gary Gensler. So that's really good. And guys, Coinbase, they are seeking access to Gary Gensler's private emails. And I'm here for it, folks, because we know, like I said, he's a scumbag. This guy doesn't abide by the law. This guy will stomp over the law just to do the bidding of his puppet master, Elizabeth Warren, and her puppet masters are the TradFi banking incumbents like Jamie Dimon and so forth. Tyler Winklevoss said, "Thank you, Brian Armstrong and Coinbase, for doing this. Gary Gensler has been talking out of both sides of his mouth for years. His positions on crypto have been totally inconsistent, and the public deserves this transparency." So let's hope they're successful, guys. Let me read a small part of this announcement. Coinbase is pushing for access to the personal email correspondence of U.S. SEC Chair Gary Gensler, telling a New York federal judge that the private communications could shed light on the regulator's views of the cryptocurrency industry and downplaying the SEC's objections to the company's allegedly intrusive subpoena. Now, we've heard rumors that the SEC has been using like WhatsApp and all kinds of stuff when they shouldn't be. So I think this needs to be investigated. These people use our tax dollars. They need to be held accountable. They need to follow the law. They're supposed to be the ones enforcing the law, but they themselves don't even respect it. I've often stated that the SEC has fallen far from its core mission of protecting investors. It's become political. It's become corrupt. And that's why I support Congressman Warren Davidson's restructuring the SEC, where it's a different structure so it can't be politically pulled to one side or the other. And I hope that is something that's done. But this is a bigger symptom of big government. And we need to fix all these issues, guys. But I hope Coinbase is able to do this. This would be beautiful. Now, some other Coinbase news. Coinbase Ventures invests in Amplefort's flat coin technology. Spot launches on Base. So Coinbase Ventures has invested $1 million in a strategic funding round for Amplefort's Foundation's decentralized low volatility commodity money Spot, SPOT. Spot is set to launch on Coinbase incubated Ethereum layer 2 network Base as part of the deal. Flat coin technologies like Spot, designed to track the cost of living, have been described by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong as the next iteration of stablecoins. So this is very interesting. I'm going to look more into this and if there's an investment opportunity here. Now, we got huge news coming out from BlackRock. So BlackRock's Buidl fund tops $500 million as tokenized treasury market soars. So we know BlackRock has their own Bitcoin ETF. They're custodying Circle's USDC reserves. They're tokenizing on Ethereum. So they're all in on crypto. And this is the world's largest asset manager, of course. So, global asset manager BlackRock's Buidl token, issued in partnership with Securitize and backed by US Treasuries, has surpassed $500 million market value on Monday, Ethereum blockchain data Etherscan shows. It's the first tokenized treasury product to achieve this milestone, taking only 4 months since its debut in March. Guys, when I've said many times this is just the tip of the iceberg, I was not kidding. In 4 months, they're getting this amount of money. Just look at the Bitcoin ETF inflows as well. And I've often talked about not only this bull market cycles, but future bull market cycles. So we got ways to go. We haven't hit a billion people here in Web3 as yet. Yesterday, I shared the stat that we just hit 10 million. So we're a far away from 1 billion, folks. We're not at full mainstream mass adoption yet. The growth of BlackRock's tokenized product has been fueled by other decentralized finance protocols such as Ondo Finance and Mountain Protocol, using Buidl as a backing asset for their own yield products. Digital asset brokers such as FalconX and most recently Hidden Road also added the token to collateral assets for their institutional investor clients across their networks. Not retail, folks. Institutional. And there's a lot of money there. So this is amazing. So Buidl continues to become the base tokenized asset for many other innovative RWA products to be built on. Carlos Domingo, CEO of Securitize, told Coindesk. So I'm going to try to get Carlos on the podcast, given this news, to talk a bit about what they have going on here and what's to come. And it's exciting, folks. And, many of you may say, well, how can I make money off of this? Well, if you're holding the native token of the blockchain they're using, that's how you make money off of it. And maybe there's some DeFi things that are being opened up. If they're opened up to retail, you can participate. But think of it as you're holding the token of the software, the blockchain network that this institution is building on. So incredibly bullish news, guys. So if you're holding the Ether token, you're going to benefit from this news. That's how you have to look at it. Network effects, Metcalfe's law, study that. And that will help you to better understand how these blockchain networks have valuation, even if the token directly is not being used. The token is just to grease the system and to help it to function, then to help the network to function. So I hope you understand that. And that's when it really opened up for me that even if the token is not being used directly, there's still a lot of value here, and adoption of the blockchain is certainly critical for its ongoing growth in valuation and so forth. Now, final news item here, we got some updates from Flare Networks. They, of course, have the FLR token, which I hold, I delegate, and I continue to earn rewards. They are burning tokens, which is good. They have a plan to burn about 2.1 billion tokens by 2026. So today they burned 66 million, which is about $1.4 million. So they have a total supply of 100 billion. It's very much like XRP. So burning some of these tokens should help improve the valuation of the tokens, especially if they see that some of these tokens may not be necessary, right? It's very inflationary. Deflate it, right? And burn it out there. And this is one of the key benefits of crypto, that you can do these things in real time. So I'm very bullish on this token. This is not financial advice, do your own research, but I hold it, I'm delegating it, and I plan to take profits on it as it runs up in this bull market cycle. Once again, not financial advice, do your own research. So exciting times, guys. Lots of great news, lots of bullish news. I hope you listened and watched to the end here. Thank you for doing that. And let me know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. A great way to support the podcast, guys. Grab a copy of my book. Grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and in digital. Link will be in the description. If you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It would really help me out and support me. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.